of Coach's Corner for Panther PVMU TV. I'm Drew Brewer, and I'm here with Coach the Freitas of the tennis. How you doing today, Coach?
I'm doing all right, thank you.
Doing well. Thank you for coming in for this interview today. So, Coach, I'll just get right into it. We had a player of yours, Jaden Boone, who had came in with an interview for Panther Sports Zone, and he gave us his perspective of what it was on the recruiting side when it comes to the students coming to the school. So my question to you is, coming from a coach's side, how is that recruiting to getting players to come to PV?
Well, being Coach Dwayne's volunteer assistant and working with him with the recruiting, it's all about the fit and the relationship to PV, right, and understanding the historical context of coming to an HBCU. So those selling points, they come visit the campus, they see the makeup of the campus, how beautiful it is and those things. So there are a number of selling points that go into it, and of course, we're looking for top flight tennis players.
Top flight.
Yes.
I like that. So in tennis, most of the matches are singles with coming into doubles, and the doubles matches, you only get about 1 point for winning at least about 2 out of 3. So how does the teamwork play in part when it comes to practice and training when it comes to getting ready for those matches?
Well, the doubles point is important because you play 3 matches, 3 one-set matches for that 1 doubles point. So that match and then 6 singles matches. So that's a total of 7 points. So it's critical to get that doubles point because then we go into singles. We only need to win 3 matches. So the training now, as we prepare, we're always focusing on playing excellent doubles, right? So we have to be solid in doubles because then that will carry over into the singles.
Okay. So with that, do you feel that players who do participate in the double matches do a better job when it comes to a single match when they have only 1 opponent, or how does that work?
Yes, because in doubles, you have to be solid in 3 areas: the serve, the return of serve, and your volleys. And those 3 elements are needed in your singles because the return of serve, especially in doubles, you have to keep it away from that net player. So in singles, you don't have somebody that's essentially your accuracy is much better on the returns, right? Because when you're playing doubles, you have to avoid the net guy, or in the girl side, you have to avoid the net girl. So you become a lot more accurate in your returns, your volleys become more solid, and your serve has to be accurate because you have somebody else that's depending on you to get that serve into a certain spot.
Okay. So coming from Panama and the Caribbean and there, how was the transition when it comes to the United States, and how do you see that as a turning point in recruiting internationally or domestically? Like, do you want to keep it as domestic as possible, or are you looking outsourcing outside of the United States to bring kids to PV?
Well, the way Coach Dwayne does it is he has a good relationship. He, being from Barbados, has a solid relationship with coaches there because he's from there. He played there, played on their international team, played on their Davis Cup team. So that foundation has brought us some solid players. Like currently we have one on the women's side. She's our #1 player, and she is the top girl in the SWAC. So those connections make us a more solid team. And domestically, we also have some solid players from the area. So those are the areas we're trying to continue to grow. So it's a good mix, right, of what we can find, because PV, as of right now, is not the top choice they're going to select, right? They go, oh, A&M or PV, well, they have a few more resources over there. But now we have tried to convince them, hey, we're trying to build something bigger here, because right now it's like, oh, they're a little HBCU, they're cute and all, but we can beat them.
Right.
But we now have to reorganize our own mindset as to how we're going to approach the A&Ms, the Texas, the Houstons.
Yeah. So I know we talked earlier when it comes to you and Coach Williams, you guys have the combination of both men and women tennis. but how is it for you guys when it comes to the difference of the team? So, focus more on the men's side where he focuses on the women's side. So how does that combination help the team get better?
No, we actually both focus on both of the teams. Today just happens to be one of those days where I'm in town because usually when we play a team like Lamar, who has both men's and women's team, then we both are there to cover both of them. And some of the SWAC teams only have women's teams, so then the men's will go, and I may stay here and practice with them. So it's usually a nice little combination as to how we approach who's going to take the guys today or who's going to take the girls. Then we have a graduate assistant also with us, and she tends to focus a lot more on the girls' side.
Okay. So I want to get more from you. What led you to tennis? Like, what led you to become a coach here at PV? What just passionate about this?
It's an excellent question. So for me, I'm originally a basketball and football player. As an undergraduate, I was a walk-on player at the University of Arkansas, as I was telling one of our players here earlier. So, and I learned tennis there from some world-class players who played on the circuit and taught me the inner part of the game, right? That's the mental part. And I worked with a gentleman as a graduate assistant there, and that's how I got into it. And he played for an old school coach at TCU, a guy named Tut. He's an old school guy that played and coached some of the old world-class players. So I learned the foundation of the game early, so that led me and kept me involved in it. I taught it to my son, who played at Northwestern, and now is graduating from a place like UCLA. So then I worked with some top juniors who Coach Wayne recruited to bring here. So when I came to do my graduate work, I was like, hey, I think I can help you with your team, man. It's like, really? So then we hooked up and realized we had some things in common. And it's like, sure. Didn't have any money to pay me, though, but I'm here as a volunteer.
That's good. Well, Coach, I'm glad that you were able to come in for this interview to discuss more about the tennis aspect side of it. I know tennis is one of those sports, especially here, that is not looked on upon as much, and we're trying to get that focus up to show that, this is a school that hosts champions, not just the major sports like basketball and football, but sports like tennis and others that really just need more of the spotlight to get more of their point across to show that they belong.
We just got to get that ring. Then they'll
still got to get that ring.
Attention,
get that ring, and we'll let them know, PV, home of the champions. When we come back, we'll talk to softball player Cailin Massey on the words of when it comes to softball. We'll be right back with KPVU-TV Sports Coaches Corner. Hello, and welcome back to Coach's Corner. We have player Cailin Massey here with us for softball. Cailin, how you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
That's doing great. So, Cailin, as a freshman, how is it learning from the upperclassmen from the softball team?
It's really nice to have an upperclassmen that are like there and want you to be successful. We are a pretty young team. We do have a lot of sophomores and a few freshmen, but even they they support you. They want you to do well, and it's nice to just have them having your back and knowing that they want you to be successful.
Right. So what draw your attention to come to PV?
Throughout the recruiting process, as I was like getting closer and thinking where I actually wanted to go, I decided I want to go to an HBCU, and I'm majoring in mechanical engineering, and I know Prairie View has really good engineering, and then softball was just kind of the cherry on top. It kind of pulled everything together.
Okay. So I know it's kind of early in the season. You guys are with a record of 3-3. So how do you feel about the performance of the team so far?
I feel like we're really coming together. There's been a few games where it's like we'll be hitting, but then our defense isn't where it needs to be, or our defense will be good and we can't score runs. But I feel like as we've gone on, slowly everything's kind of coming together. We're getting timely hits and we're making big plays on defense. So everything's kind of falling into place how it should be.
Anything that you can look forward to this coming up season?
I'm just excited to see like how much better we get as we go, because I know it's only up. We can keep getting better. We can keep improving. As a freshman, I am excited for like our first SWAC. It'll be my first SWAC tournament, so I'm looking forward to that. I know we can keep going up, and I'm excited to see where season takes us.
Right. So as a freshman, learning from all the best, from the upperclassmen and everything, you know, this is your first time at PV. How is your experience here at PV so far?
I really love it. It's such a family atmosphere. Just even the first time I came on campus, like last year, just to come watch a softball game, I met some of the girls and they were already so friendly, and I hadn't even been on campus for more than a couple hours. And just walking around campus, everyone, it's such a family environment, and there's just good vibes everywhere. Everybody's has
Any
your
good
back.
memories you have so far?
I would say probably like one of the most memorable things so far would be like Panther Camp, like that first week you're there, because it's like all of the freshmen are on campus, and it's like nobody knows each other, yet we're all sitting here and like we're walking around campus together, and it's just like you instantly meet new people that, like I'm from Arkansas, so like I didn't know anybody coming here, and you just instantly meet so many people and just kind of do things that, I don't know, it was exciting to just be together and meet new people.
Right, that's good. So with softball coming into your season, you know, with the 3-3, you said that you feel the team you can't wait to see you guys get better. Is there anybody on the team that you can see now that you feel is a very standout player that really amplifies what you guys stand for as a softball team?
Our catcher, okay, so I'm a pitcher, and our catcher, Viviana, she has so much energy, and you can tell she's a player who just wants to win. She works hard. Anytime I'm in the cages, she's one of the people who will come up, and she's in the cages putting in work too. She's been hitting phenomenal. Like she's getting on base almost every time, and just the energy she brings to the team kind of hypes everybody else up, and it's just she's doing great. And I'm excited to see how much better she goes from here. It's just I can see it just slowly going up. That
pitcher-catcher connection,
yeah.
You know, that's something that's very in baseball. It's really something that really gets you guys going. I know as a defensive-wise, you know, you got to try to get the strikeouts. You guys got to communicate to get the certain areas of who you guys go. So out of your season, how do you see any toughness coming in from the competition within the SWAC? Like any teams that you feel that you guys need more not training, but more intuition on how to go forward with playing that team?
In our preseason games, we've already played Alabama State, who won SWAC last year, and I felt like for us that was a good, like, kind of see where we're at, since, you know, they won SWAC last year, so that's probably like kind of the top of what's coming back. And I would say that it was really early in the season when we played them, so I think now with our defense being solid, I think we're ready to play them again, honestly. I'm excited to see. I'm ready for SWAC.
So, ready for SWAC.
Yeah.
Alabama State, watch out now. You know, we're coming out here, so about to do our thing. So, you know, as playing in the softball, that's another one of those sports that, you know, is kind of overshadowed by baseball. And how do you see yourself and the team getting more of the spotlight to show PV and around PV and surrounding areas that, you know, you guys are here, you guys are ready to win, and this is what we're trying to do?
I think it's just part of making those connections, because I know like a lot of the softball girls will go support the baseball team and then they come support us. And then if we can slowly get more people to come and we support them, they support us. It's kind of like a mutual, all the athletes, we got to have each other's back, and we got to understand that some of these like softball who aren't always getting the spotlight, like let's get them the spotlight some. And honestly, just like winning, like you said earlier with tennis, bring home a ring and people pay attention.
Yeah, bring home that ring and everybody go come. Everything. Well, thank you, Cailin. I appreciate you coming in for this interview.
Thanks.
I know getting the player side of it, that's something that we always want to look forward to, as well as the coaching. But, you know, at the end of the day, the coaching trains you, but you are the one that's actually out there on the field playing. So I appreciate you coming in for this interview, and thank you for that.
Thanks for having me.
When we come back, we'll have men and women's track field coming in for an interview. You'll be right back after this. Hello and welcome back to Coach's Corner. I'm here with Coach Clay and Coach Williams of the men and women's track and field. Coaches, how are you guys doing?
Wonderful.
Doing well.
How are you?
Doing well. We're doing well. So I know we just talked about, we got to get out there first about the meet coming up this Friday. You know, how you guys excited about that? How you guys feeling about the meet coming up?
I'll let Coach Clay go.
Oh, it's Prairie View Relays. It's one of the largest events that we have here at Prairie View. I've been participating as a student athlete since '97. So, you know, I'm able to see how it has advanced, and the schools, the high schools, the collegiates, and it's just an exciting moment for us. You know, for a track and field, this is our homecoming, right? Our spring homecoming. So we always encourage alums to come back. We always encourage just student athletes, just the general population as a whole, to come to our campus. Right. It's a great time to really just show off Prairie View.
So as a coach, how do you guys shift the focus for your student athletes when it comes to the student side and as well as the track and field side?
Well, academics always come first. You know, I tell my guys, in order for you to be an athlete here at Prairie View, you must get accepted as a student first. So academics is what we push. Before we sign an athlete, we make sure that they are academically strong enough to withstand the academic piece here at Prairie View. So we do a great job in, you know, dissecting their transcripts. The administration does a great job with the study hall piece they have available. Also, our athletic academic advisors that's in place to help stimulate the athletes when they're struggling academically. And most freshmen coming in, they really struggle with time management. But then after that, once they get on with the time management piece and the study piece, the athletic piece comes together as a whole.
That's right. So as you guys are the coaches for both the men and the women's, how is the recruiting process when it comes to bringing kids here to PV to be a track?
For me, I like to bring people on campus. There's a lot of misconceptions about Prairie View out in the universe. So I like for parents and potential student athletes to come to the campus to meet the athletes, the academic pieces, the deans, the department heads, and just show them what we have to offer. I always tell students and parents, I'm not trying to sell you Prairie View. I want you to see what Prairie View has to offer.
Okay. So I know with indoor and outdoor track and field, Alabama State has been that dominance over that sport when it comes to from 2009 to, I believe, 2020. But you guys actually came in and broke that and actually won SWAC championship. So how does that feel coming into that being the new dominance of track and field on both men and women's indoor and outdoor?
Well, Coach Clay had been doing that before I came,
right.
On the men's side. For the women, I just want to thank all the young ladies from 2007 that were here when I showed up, and they asked who this crazy person was, having them out on the track, to the young ladies that are currently in the program that helped us successfully win the indoor conference in 21 and 22. Just want to thank them for believing in not only themselves but in the program, and that they were capable of doing the things that I thought that they could do, even if they didn't believe it, and to help put the pieces together to win a championship. It's not easy to win a championship on any level. So I'm extremely proud of them, and I always tell them you're not competing against a team, you're competing against yourself. So as long as you keep that as the focus, no matter what team is winning, you're going to get them.
Right. So I kind of want to get both sides from the women and then a side from the men. So we'll start with the women first. How do you expect the same success this year when it comes to outdoor as well as indoor track?
Of course, yes.
Of course.
The plan is to win outdoor. You have events indoor that you can't contest. So once you go outdoor, some of your athletes that have to compete in indoor events that you don't have, they shine outdoor. For example, 400-meter hurdles aren't contested indoor, but they are outdoor. So you may move your 400-meter hurdlers to an 800 or to a 200 or to a 400, but once they move into their premier event, they're going to shine. So my expectation is that we win the outdoor conference as well, and that we go beyond that to the NCAA regionals and NCAA championships this year.
Coach Clay, same question for you for the men's side.
Well, on the men's side, you know, we're always looking to win indoor and outdoor. And I tell my guys all the time, especially the freshmen coming in, most freshmen coming in, they're not used to indoors. So outdoors is their element. So the way we train in all conditions. So when outdoor come around, it's really not an excuse why you can't perform. So I kind of always say seems like we're a better outdoor team than an indoor team. But, you know, we've been blessed in years past to be able to perform well indoors and outdoors.
Okay. Coach Clay, I want to talk about one of your specific players,
Okay.
Nathan, what's his name? Nathan Wallace. How do you feel about him blossoming coming into this new season? Like, what are your expectations for him?
Nathan's a great guy. He's great academically. We recruited him from Barbados. He's a great high jumper, triple jumper, long jumper, 110 hurler. So he's a guy that can do multiple events for us on the team. So his strongest events is triple jump. Right now, he's #1 in the NCAA in the triple jump. He jumped 52 the first week for the outdoor season. So, and he's only going to get better. He's a sophomore. He's still growing. He's still learning, and he's still developing.
And with that being said, you know, for both men and women's track and field, you know, I know you said that's a great point. You guys on both sides, you guys have from sprints to jumps to relays, you guys have a very strong bonded team that's really going out there and really dominating the track and field side for PV. So what goes into crafting a team like that?
For me, they have to buy into the program. And also, I tell my young ladies on the team, you may not, or you don't have to like each other, but you need to learn how to respect each other and the differences that you have. And so if you know that you really don't get along with the person, but you find ways to respect them for who they are, it makes it a lot easier for you to function in that space. And I call the track my peace. So I don't want anyone disrupting my peace out at the track. So when they come out, they come to work. They come to take care of business, because we only have them for a brief period of time in practice. The rest of the day is theirs to go and do whatever they choose to do. So I think outside of the track and field element, once you get the young women, and they get along very well with the young men, we work well together, once you get them to respect each other, everything else kind of falls into place.
Okay. So for both coming from women's and men's, how do you guys feel about your teams right now? Like, what is the expectation moving forward? Like, at this moment right now, I know early into the outdoor season, like, how are you guys feeling coming into the season?
My guys, they feeling good. I'm feeling good about my team. They're feeling good about themselves. In practice every day, they continue to push each other. Our guys, they have a brotherhood. It's like a brotherhood. You know, I tell them all the time, if you all train with each other every day, you should push each other every day. You know, don't worry about your feelings. You know, worry about the guy beside you. And I tell this guy beside him, don't worry about your feelings, worry about the guy beside you. So if we take our feelings out, and, you know, we can push each other throughout the practices. So, you know, my expectations and my feelings about this outdoor season is extremely high.
Same here. I'm expecting some really big things to happen with some of these young women. They're training really, really hard, and they are supporting each other. They have some sayings for some days that we have out there. I think it's like Body Bag Monday or Murder Monday and Body Bag Wednesday. But what I like is that even with the freshmen, or I have a few transfers this year, which I usually don't bring in a lot of transfers, they have bought into the system that we have in place because they're seeing the results. And so it makes coaching a lot easier because it's something tangible that our athletes, okay, you were running this last year, now you're running this, oh my God, what did you do? Well, you do this, and I'm pretty sure you're going to do the same thing. So it makes it a lot easier. So I have really high expectations for the young women this year.
So for the years that you guys have been coaching here at PV for track and field, how have you seen the turnaround in the years to come from when you guys first started as coaching to now?
Well, just the entire preview and the landscape has changed since the beginning of my coaching career. We have a lot of new buildings on campus. We have a lot of new like stadiums, standalone track. So we have now we really have a athletic complex. You know, when I first arrived in coaching, we only had a football field and a track within the football field. And we didn't have a soccer stadium. We just kind of had a field that softball practice on, you know. So, you know, now we have an athletic complex that can really, that we can really show off here at Prairie View. And I think our athletes, they have buy-in to the program and to continue to move forward. And, you know, just to let them know, now, you didn't create this, but you came into it. So now you have to make things better for the next generation of athletes that's coming in behind you. So, you know, I try to ingrain in them that, you know, you all are trailblazers now. You know, you have what you have now, but you have to create something better for the next generation.
Anything to add?
And for me, when I came in, I think I had maybe 10 or 12 athletes. And now I carry usually about 36, sometimes 40. But what I've seen is the quality of athletes that I'm able to solidify as recruits has changed. So my qualifying standards have changed because the athletes are coming in better from the ones that have been developed before them. And so it has allowed me to really work those athletes a little bit harder because they're physically and better. Not taking anything away from those that came before them, but they're just better athletes at this time. So having the facility and the academic programs that we have here are solid. Having all those things, it makes recruiting a lot easier for me. When I first came, it was extremely difficult, but it's getting better, and I can appreciate that. And I'm actually happy that I stayed to just continue to push and push and push to build the program. And I'd like to do what Ross did. I've said it when I first came. I won a national championship,
right.
So I'm trying to get there.
All right. So one of my last questions is, which out of the indoor and outdoor, which guys do you prefer when it comes to track?
What do you mean?
Like, I know their differences, like, you know, they're kind of like similar. They do the same stuff, but like, what is the difference between an indoor, like outdoor, like what really makes I know not only just because it's inside and one's outside, but how do you feel you think your players do better in when it comes to indoor or being an outdoor?
Well, for me, I grew up on the East Coast, so indoor was easier for me. I practiced on 156-meter tracks. Now they have 200-meter tracks, so running a bank track was easy and simple for me. Here, it's difficult for indoor because you don't have indoor facilities to train on, but you have to compete on an indoor track. I think it's more difficult for a distance runner indoor because 800, instead of 2 laps, it's now 4. 400, instead of 1 lap, it's now 2. And I think it's more difficult for guys because they're taller, and the track size is not as wide as outdoor. I think indoor running, and that may be why in the NCAA you only get top 16 in the country in an indoor. Outdoor, you get top 48 per region because athletes can really open up and do better outdoors. So you have more athletes being successful outdoor than you have indoor. So I think if I were to weigh it, it's not about the athlete. The season indoor, for me, is a lot more difficult than the season outdoor. So when an athlete is really, really successful indoor, that means that their outdoor season is probably going to be stellar.
You agree with that, Coach?
Absolutely, absolutely. And a lot of the recruits we recruit from out of high school, they're not used to a long indoor season. They are kind of used to an outdoor season already. And really for us, indoor season is actually our winter season.
Right.
And outdoor is our spring season. So, you know, you have to learn how to train outdoors for a winter season in January and February, your two coldest months. You know, compared to outdoor season where, you know, you have the right weather, it's sun, you know, it's warmer and less rain, and now you can open up and really work on speed, turnover, and things of that nature. So it's a difference, but, you know, I love both indoor and outdoor, but you know, indoors, you only have your conference and then a national championship. Outdoors, you have your conference, your regional championship, then the national championship. So you have a little bit more flexibility in the outdoor season.
All right. So with Alabama, you guys taking over their spot as #1, how are you guys feeling about this new season? Like now that everybody's coming for you, since it's PV #1, there's everybody else. Like how are you guys prepared for that, everybody coming for now y'all?
Well, we've never really thought about Alabama. You know, when we start the season, we create plans within our program. You know, that's always been our mindset. You know, Prairie View has always been #1. Now, yes, if we fall short, we fall short. But we get back on the recruiting trail, we get back on the training cycle, we get back up, and we keep pushing. So, you know, if we train for one school, another school can come back and get us.
Right.
So, you know, starting the season, you know, we forget what happened last year. Like, you know, I know Prairie View men won outdoors last year. We done put that out our head now. We are building for this year. You know, we're not trying to defend nothing because last year is over. You know, we're trying to gain more momentum.
Yeah, I don't chase teams. I train my athletes to compete in their event, and whatever happens through that happens through it. So, like Coach Clay says, I'm not going to focus on one team and then another team comes and just whoops my behind. So we focus on the events, we focus on what they're capable of doing, and if they perform to the best of their ability, they'll be successful. And if we end up being #1, we just end up being #1 again.
Well, thank you, Coach Williams. Thank you, Coach Clay, for coming in and giving us more on the men and women's track and field. I know Prairie View is home of the champions, and y'all being here right now is a great example of that, of how champions are made and formed. And I appreciate you guys coming in to really talk about that today.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Tune in tomorrow at 3 p.m. where we'll be back with another episode of Coach's Corner. For now, I'm Brewer, and thank you, and we'll sign off for today.